Discipline is the cornerstone of success. It's the little things, the everyday choices, consistent behavior and unwavering dedication to an objective that determines our destiny. Even the most promising pathways might go nowhere if there is no discipline, even when skill and chance play their roles. Therefore, developing this crucial quality discipline requires more than simply willpower. It's about creating the routines, frameworks, and attitude that help you remain on course. Self-awareness is the first step toward discipline, even when motivation wanes. Self-awareness. Many individuals go through life unconscious of their routines and habits, and you can't alter what you don't understand. They respond to situations while going about their daily lives without having a clear idea of where their time is. Focus and energy are flowing, but discipline demands that you take charge. Being mindful is the first stage in developing discipline so that you can intentionally guide your activities toward your objectives. Of how you spend your time and determining any areas in which you could be lacking. Make a list of all the things you do every day for a week to begin with. Be truthful and comprehensive, starting as soon as you wake up. This procedure isn't about passing judgment when you go to sleep, but in terms of obtaining clarity. When you've planned out your week, you'll probably see trends. Regions where time is squandered on activities that don't advance your objectives. Considering chances for progress, awareness is potent as it provides a foundation. Even while these seconds may not seem like much on their own, you may discover that you're wasting hours every day on useless entertainment and other diversions. However, they add up to a substantial amount of time over a week or month. It might be better used on pursuits that support your objectives. The first step in changing these behaviors is acknowledging them. Self-awareness enables you to see clearly where you are and are not disciplined, so that you may start making deliberate improvements. Get started small. One of the greatest errors individuals make when attempting to become more disciplined is to start small. Is trying to completely transform their life in a single day. They establish lofty objectives and try to make too many changes at once. And unavoidably, burnout discipline is about gradual, consistent development rather than drastic change. You wouldn't go to the gym for the first time if you didn't have discipline. You attempt to lift 300 pounds, you would begin with a difficult but doable weight and progressively raise it over time. If you're attempting to develop the habit of rising early, the same idea holds true for discipline. Avoid setting your alarm clock 2 hours earlier than normal. Instead, get up 10 or 15 minutes earlier every day until you get used to the new schedule. The secret is to create changes that are both consistent enough to advance you and tiny enough to be sustainable. These little acts add up over time, much like a little snowball sliding down a hill. Increases in size and speed. Therefore, you should do the daily little, controlled tasks. Over time, the combined impact of these little actions may produce enormous outcomes. And as you gain momentum, your habits will begin to reinforce themselves, making it simpler for you to maintain discipline. The problem with most individuals is that they depend on inspiration and wait for the right opportunity. However, the reality is that motivation is ephemeral and fluctuates. Your discipline will wane if you just use motivation. Action is the true secret to developing discipline. These little actions are crucial, even when you don't feel like it. Divide the work into manageable chunks so that you can do it regardless of how you're feeling. If you're attempting to develop the routine of working out, when you're lacking motivation, try exercising for just 5 minutes. 5 minutes can seem like a little time, but once you get going, you'll often discover that you keep going. Starting is the most difficult aspect, and if you really just do 5 minutes, that's still a victory since you're developing the habit and enhancing your discipline. Delay gratification. Next, postpone gratification. Our society is fixated on immediate outcomes. There are promises of fast and simple plans to make money quick wherever you turn. Fast diets for weight loss that are shortcuts to success. However, the reality is that everything worthwhile requires time and work. Discipline is the capacity to sacrifice immediate gratification for long-term benefit. Delaying pleasure is avoiding the urge to choose the simpler route over the more difficult one. More fulfilling one, The decision to remain in and prioritize working on your side project above hanging out with pals. Investing your money is more important than squandering it on unnecessary items. It's about putting the greater benefit ahead of the present want. That results from pursuing your long-term objectives. In what became known as the marshmallow experiment, children were offered an option in the 1970s. They had the option of eating one marshmallow right away or waiting 15 minutes to get two. After years of monitoring these kids, the researchers discovered that those who could postpone satisfaction and hold out for the second marshmallow, which will lead to more success in life. Their jobs were more successful, their test scores were greater, and their health was better. The lesson here is that instant gratification is not the key to success. It results from having the capacity to postpone pleasure and maintain discipline while pursuing your objectives. You are investing in your future self when you take the more difficult route, one that calls for perseverance, hard work, and dedication. You improve your discipline and raise your prospects of long-term success each time you postpone satisfaction. However, delaying gratification involves more than simply refusing instant fulfillment. It also entails setting priorities. Discipline is about doing the right things, not about accomplishing everything. We often get engrossed in hectic work or activities that don't really advance our objectives. Discipline is about focusing and figuring on which few crucial activities that will have the greatest impact on your life and resolving to carry them out on a regular basis. Consider it this way. You won't catch any of the two bunnies if you attempt to pursue them simultaneously. The same applies to life if you're attempting to accomplish too many objectives at once. You won't make any significant progress on any of them, as you'll be too focused on them. Clarifying your priorities and identifying the few things that really important is essential to developing discipline. Which activities will have the most effects on your success? It's time to say no to everything else when you've determined your priorities. Many individuals struggle here because they want to do everything, but discipline forces you to make difficult decisions. Distractions, pointless chores, and activities that don't support your objectives must be eliminated. Although difficult, this is essential. Because your energy will be concentrated on the things that really matter, you will become more disciplined the more focused you are. The next step is to establish a routine, which is the foundation of discipline. Establish a routine. They eliminate the uncertainty from your day and drastically cut down on the amount of choices you must make. It is simpler to maintain discipline the less mental effort you put out. Successful individuals are more disciplined because they have established processes, not because they possess superhuman willpower, and habits that help you remain on course. A lot of successful individuals have a morning routine. It sets the tone for their day, whether they are organizing their day or writing in their notebook. These practices provide them structure and keep them goal-focused. Routines are effective because they eliminate the need for ongoing judgment. Decision fatigue is lessened when you stick to a schedule since you don't have to consider what to do next, because it's already planned, which is the mental fatigue brought on by having too many options. By establishing a schedule, you may your ability to concentrate on the most important things. How to establish a schedule. Therefore, the first step in creating a routine is to determine which chores are most crucial. These should be the things you do every day that have the most influence. Upon identifying these chores, plan them into your day at the same time each day to ensure your success. These chores will eventually become second nature, and discipline won't seem like a hardship. The benefit of routines is that they foster consistency, which will make it automatic. And discipline is characterized by consistency. It is not about being flawless every day. It's important to show up every day no matter how you're feeling. You no longer need willpower or drive when you establish a routine that helps you achieve your objectives. If you just stick to the strategy, the results will come eventually. As you establish your routine, keep in mind that obstacles will unavoidably arise in life. Unfortunately, things won't always go as planned. The important thing is to get back on track as soon as possible. Avoid letting a poor day become a miserable week or month. Discipline is about perseverance, about getting back up after failures, and being dedicated to your long-term objectives. Developing discipline takes ongoing work and is a lifetime process. It is not something you accomplish once and then forget about. Self-examination and modification, but the benefits outweigh the costs. Mastery of discipline, gaining control over your life and being the architect of your future, is possible when you learn discipline. Discipline offers you the ability to control your fate rather than becoming a victim of your circumstances. To fulfill your aspirations and develop into the person you've always desired to be. And it all begins with little everyday acts by developing self-awareness. Setting routines, concentrating on your priorities, and postponing gratification. You can develop the self-control necessary for long-term success. The fact that discipline is a talent that has to be developed over time is among the most crucial skills to be learned. As with any ability, you grow better at it the more you practice. When you're in charge and everything is going well, maintaining discipline is simple. While you're feeling well and there aren't any distractions, but when things go difficult, true discipline is put to the test. When difficulties come up, when you're worn out, when failures happen, this is when your discipline's actual strength comes to light. People often give up too quickly. They encounter a roadblock, feel a little uneasy, and then decide to scrap their goal. However, I'm telling you that there is no clear path to success. There will be challenges, diversions, and days when you want to give up. These are the times when you need to be persistent and dig deep. Discipline becomes your best buddy at this point. Strive for success. It is impossible to predict when the difficult will begin rolling, and discipline, in my opinion, is about persevering through discomfort. It's about doing your obligations because they are required, not because you feel like it. This is what distinguishes people who succeed from those who fail. The disciplined individual never gives up. Now keep in mind that discipline is ingrained in everyday life. Your destiny is shaped by the apparently unimportant things you do on a daily basis. Many individuals believe that discipline is about huge gestures or strong resolve. However, discipline is ingrained in the little things. Therefore, that's not where it dwells. The choices you make when no one is looking, the daily little sacrifices you make, and the dedication to completing the task, even if it is tiresome or dull. In our fast-paced world, here is where many individuals get trapped and lose their patience. Right now, everyone wants results, but discipline shows us that real success takes time. It calls for perseverance, patience, and a long-term outlook. Given that the benefits may not materialize right away, you must be prepared to work hard today. But don't worry, if you maintain your discipline, you will see benefits. Have faith in the process. You have to have confidence in the process. Discipline is about believing in the effort. You're working hard, but sometimes you'll feel like your efforts are in vain if you don't see results right away. You seem to be circling about and not moving forward, but believe me when I say that every controlled action you do counts, is moving in the direction of something bigger. It may not be apparent now, but it is occurring. Consider it like growing a tree, where you don't immediately see results after sowing a seed. For a time, it looks like nothing is occurring even if you give it water and take care of it. But the tree finally starts to sprout as the roots under the surface expand. Discipline operates in this way. You must have faith that your efforts are setting the groundwork. Even if you are unable to see the advancements and one day they appear out of nowhere. You must be mindful of the people you surround yourself with, because the effects will start to show. Your capacity to maintain discipline is greatly influenced by your surroundings. If you're around folks who, it will be far more difficult for you to remain on course if you don't discuss your ambitions with others who lack self-discipline. However, if you are surrounded by others who are disciplined, focused, and working toward achievement, maintaining your personal discipline will be much simpler for you, since discipline is infectious. Being around people who are dedicated to their objectives and pushing themselves motivates you to follow suit. Their concentration, habits, and enthusiasm are contagious. This is the reason it's crucial to choose the people you spend time with carefully. Seek out people who are already more disciplined if you want to become more so. Look for friends, co-workers, or mentors who lead disciplined lifestyles, and follow their lead. I've always maintained that we end up being ordinary. Ask yourself who you surround yourself with out of the 5 individuals we spend the most time with. Do they support you, help you maintain your discipline, and motivate you to realize your full potential? Or are they dragging you down, diverting your attention, and guiding you away from your objectives? If you want to develop discipline, you must surround yourself with individuals who will encourage that development. Be honest with yourself. The surroundings. Now, in addition to being surrounded by the appropriate people, establishing an atmosphere that encourages discipline is essential. What do I mean by this? Consider your actual surroundings. Are they arranged to help you achieve your objectives? Or if you're attempting to eat healthily, is it rife with temptations and diversions? It will be much more difficult to maintain discipline if your kitchen is stocked with junk food, if your desk is messy and chaotic and you're seeking to increase productivity. One of the easiest ways to develop discipline is to lose concentration, is by removing obstacles and creating a conducive atmosphere for achievement. This may include tidying up your workstation and putting your phone aside when working intently. In eliminating procrastination-causing temptations, the objective is to establish an atmosphere when choosing a discipline is the simple option. This concept also holds true for your mental space. This concept also pertains to your mental surroundings. Are you thinking about constructive things? Uplifting material that encourages you to maintain your discipline? Or are you absorbing negativity? Information and diversions that don't support your objectives, just as you should be deliberate about the individuals. You should be deliberate about what you let into your head and who you surround yourself with. Clarity. The fact is that discipline requires clarity. You must be absolutely certain of what you want to accomplish and the reasons it matters to you. Without this clarity, it will always be difficult to maintain discipline when you have a compelling reason. Since you're not depending on your own willpower anymore, discipline becomes simpler. You have a greater purpose, so consider why you want to accomplish your objectives. What's the big picture? Saying, "I want to be successful," or "I want to be healthier," is insufficient. You should look more closely at why you want to succeed and what it will enable you to achieve. How will it alter your life? Your discipline will be stronger the more you understand why. When things are difficult or you're fatigued, clarity offers you direction and something to concentrate on. When distractions arise or you feel like giving up, your sense of purpose will keep you focused. It serves as a reminder of your initial motivation and the consequences of not maintaining discipline. Particular objectives. This clarity serves as your compass, and one strategy to keep it that way is to establish clear discipline that relies on direction and precise aims, and your objectives provide that guidance. The more precise your objectives, it will be simpler to maintain discipline rather than declaring, "I want to get in shape." Establish a goal such as, "I want to run a 10K in 3 months." Make a goal like this rather than just stating, "I want to be more productive. For the next 30 days, I'll write 500 words every day." Setting clear objectives gives you a tangible target to strive for and establishes a discipline roadmap. It is simpler to make disciplinary decisions when you are clear about your goals. Something will get you closer to your objective. You're not only working in theory, you're working toward your objectives with a purpose. Additionally, it's important to acknowledge and appreciate your accomplishments along the road. Discipline should not be strict. Being hard on oneself, which is really one of the finest methods to maintain discipline, is by recognizing and applauding the little triumphs each time you choose a discipline. You're strengthening the disciplined habit, and each time you do so, don't wait till you've reached the main objective, since you're getting closer to it now. Celebrate. Spend some time celebrating the little victories along the road. Did you rise early today and follow your schedule to celebrate? Did you avoid giving in to temptation? It would have halted your advancement. Acknowledge that these minor joys keep you inspired, and remind you that even if the effects aren't apparent right away, discipline is paying off. In the end, discipline is about developing an intentional and purposeful life. Instead of letting life happen to you, it's about taking charge of your choices and actions. You become the creator of your own tale and have the ability to influence your destiny when you develop discipline. And even if the path may not always be straightforward, the benefits are enormous. Discipline enables you to accomplish your objectives, bring about long-lasting change, and develop into the person you've always desired to be. It takes time, effort, and perseverance to achieve. It does not happen suddenly. It has the potential to become one of your most effective tools in the future. Take responsibility for yourself. Hold yourself accountable. One of the most effective strategies for maintaining focus is accountability, because it compels you to take responsibility for your choices and deeds when you commit to both yourself and other people. When no one else is aware of your intentions, it's tempting to let yourself off the hook, which intensifies the pressure to follow through. Or your obligations, but when another person is involved. As the stakes rise, accountability may take many different shapes. Telling a friend or relative about your objectives and asking them to follow up on your progress might be all that is required. Or joining a community of like-minded individuals who are pursuing their own objectives. Establishing a method where you can report your progress on a regular basis is crucial in this situation. Early in my career, while I was attempting to develop better financial practices to someone else every month, I aimed to save a certain amount of my salary. I was aware that I may be tempted to slack off if I had no one to keep me responsible, spend a bit more money here and there, and tell myself that I'll make it up later. Thus, I collaborated with a coworker who was also attempting to strengthen his financial self-control, and we decided to stay in touch at the end of each month. I was able to remain on course and maintain my spending discipline because I had to report my progress to someone else. Regarding financial objectives, here's the problem. Accountability applies to all things. Accountability applies to everything, not just financial objectives. Sharing your objectives with others may help you achieve your goals, whether they be to start a company, learn a new skill, or get in shape. When asked people to hold you responsible, you're establishing a framework that encourages self-control. When your internal drive is waning, adding an external layer of incentive may be really beneficial. However, being responsible to oneself is just as important as including others. You must become your own greatest coach, which entails establishing clear goals for yourself and carrying through, even when no one else is there. It's simple to make reasons to get away with it, like, "I'll do it tomorrow," or something similar, but discipline is necessary. You must be honest with yourself about your development if you want to hold yourself to a higher level. One of the greatest ways to be responsible to yourself is to keep track of your accomplishments and failures, is to monitor your progress. By recording your daily activities, you establish a record of your discipline, and you begin to feel proud of your accomplishments as you see that record increase over time, and that sensation then strengthens the disciplined habit. Control your feelings. Many individuals believe that discipline is just about controlling your emotions. Action toward completing the task, adhering to the schedule, and making the appropriate decisions, and that's accurate, but there's more to it than that. Discipline also calls for emotional control. Because, let's be honest, our emotions often interfere with our best intentions. When you think about it, how many times have you started a goal and succeeded? You then abruptly ran into a wall because you didn't want to carry on. Maybe you were bored, irritated, or disheartened. Or maybe you felt overpowered because life presented you with an unforeseen obstacle. Everyone encounters emotional obstacles, which are a normal part of the process. However, mastering the ability to control such feelings is the secret of discipline, that they don't stop you from moving on. Change your perspective. To be clear, discipline does not include suppressing your feelings or acting as if you are not angry, or worn out or anxious, which isn't what it really means. Is developing the ability to manage your emotions so they don't dictate how you behave. This calls for a certain amount of emotional intelligence and self-awareness. You must be able to detect when you have coping mechanisms in place to cope with feelings of overwhelm or discouragement in a constructive manner. One effective tactic is to change your perspective when you're in a difficult situation. Once your emotions take control, it's simple to concentrate on how difficult things are, how worn out you are, or how far you have to go. But if you can change the way you think, when concentrate on the advantages of the circumstance, it becomes simpler to persevere. Instead of believing that I'll never succeed or that this is too difficult, Consider changing your perspective to something like, "This is a difficulty, but every action I do gets me closer to my objective," or "I'm becoming stronger as a result." When you alter your perspective on a situation, it's astounding how much control our ideas have on our emotions. You alter your feelings about it, and once you do, it becomes simpler to maintain discipline, which is another effective technique to control your emotions, is to appreciate what you have, since it's easy to concentrate on all the problems when you're facing a difficult situation. However, being thankful reminds you of your accomplishments and helps you concentrate on what's going well. Being thankful for the chances you have and the lessons you're learning along the road keeps you optimistic, even in difficult situations, and your discipline is strengthened by that optimism. Therefore, spend a few minutes at the end of each day writing down 3 things for which you are thankful. These might be minor things or large ones, like reaching a significant milestone. Enjoy having the stamina to do your everyday chores. The idea is to gradually teach your mind to concentrate on the good things in life, which will help you better control your emotions efficiently, which will bolster your discipline. Accept failure. The next step is to accept failure as a necessary part of the process. Too often, individuals believe that discipline is about being flawless and never making mistakes or skipping an exercise, avoiding temptation. But in reality, discipline isn't about being flawless. It's about perseverance, about picking yourself up after a setback and keeping going. Even after making errors, failure is a normal part of the process. Everybody has occasions when they are not completely disciplined. The important thing is to avoid those situations when we succumb to diversions or just fail to complete tasks. Derail you entirely. When you make a mistake, don't be hard on yourself or give up. Take it as a teaching moment and consider what went wrong. Why did I make a mistake, and how can I avoid doing this again? This change in perspective is essential because it eliminates the fear of failure by seeing it as a necessary step in the process. It gets less daunting since you don't feel like you need to be flawless to achieve. You realize that each error is only a learning experience on the road to achievement, and the more you accept defeat. As you become more resilient, I've seen a lot of individuals lose up on their dreams. Following a single failure, they abruptly believe themselves that they have failed and skip one day of their regimen. However, the reality is that your success is determined by your actions the next day, not by skipping one day. Discipline is important because it involves consistency throughout time. It's not about being perfect. If you make a mistake, get back up and go on. The most disciplined individuals are those who don't give up, not those who never fail. So, how do you accept failure as a necessary component of the process? Begin by changing your perspective so that failure is not something to be dreaded. Consider every setback as a chance to improve and something to learn from. Must become better and more disciplined. And when you think on failure in this manner, when you cease fearing it, it loses its ability to control you. When you begin using it to support your advancement, now pause to consider the ways in which failure has influenced your own path. Maybe you have established goals at some point. However, you didn't follow through. Perhaps you attempted to form a new habit, but it didn't work out. Reframe these instances as worthwhile learning opportunities rather than as setbacks. Consider the lessons you can take away from them and how you can use them going ahead. Discipline is ultimately about the long term, not about reaching instant perfection. It's about cultivating resilience and a habitual mentality. That enable you to maintain your course throughout time with each little focused move you do, helps you reach your objectives even when the results aren't apparent right away. And you're developing the type of discipline that will last every time you get back up after a setback. These are the keys to developing long-lasting discipline, since they will get you over the most difficult obstacles. And as you put these ideas into practice every day, you'll discover that discipline will become a part of your character, and not simply something you do. Influencing every choice you make and every objective you seek.